Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Scott Stevenson. I am a DP and cinematographer living here in Los Angeles, and on this channel I document my journey in the film industry. And today I don't really have like a behind the scenes or a specific tutorial or topic that I'm going after. Really, I'm just kind of like giving you guys an update of where I've been and what's going on. I had 2 cups of iced coffee today, so I'm a little bit awake. It's been hard. I have a 1-year-old son, so he's been keeping me up, and it's difficult to get the rest that I need, but it feels okay. I'm gonna take these out actually. Kind of messing with me. There's a little bit of a delay. I like to listen to my audio as well as see my image when I'm recording these YouTube videos, just to make sure that my sound levels are good and my picture looks good, but it's a little bit distracting, so I'm gonna pull that out. I've been really trying to dial in my content creation workflow and the way that I approach how I do things. So it's taken some time to get my camera and my angle all set up and have a background that's somewhat interesting with some color contrast, and added a few more lights into the mix and just really got everything more dialed in. For a long time, even with audio, I was doing a boom, or even a couple of my last videos, I've had a lavalier that I was trying out, the SmallRig lavalier. I made a few videos on that. It's a great mic, but I think I went back to the pod mic. I paired it with a cloud lifter, so you guys tell me how it sounds. It's going directly into camera through a cloud lifter, so hopefully sounds better. Audio is super important to me. Obviously I want to have a good image, but audio is super important, and I feel like if you have good audio, people can turn this on like a podcast in the background and just kind of listen to you and zone out. So yeah, just getting my workflow more dialed in so that it's easier to make videos, because my time is super limited with my kid and with just my life and my wife, and everything's just super hectic right now. I haven't been working all that much, but I have been on a short film, and the past like month and a half, that's really the only gig that I have going on is a short film. So I'm actually in the process of making another video for the channel where I talk about location scouting and how to location scout and what the whole process is and why you do it. But that's a little bit more intensive of a video, so it's taken me some time to edit it and get all the B-roll and everything that I need. I actually thought about hiring an editor for this channel. I had somebody reach out to me via email, editor, a YouTube editor, and they also do like social, like short form content and stuff like this. They reached out to me via email to see if I'd be interested in hiring them as an editor. So I've been really slow. I want to maybe reach out to them today and see how much it would be to have them come on and cut some of these like talking head videos for me, because the workflow is pretty straightforward. We're cutting out silences, and we're maybe adding some B-roll and just reinforcing what it is I'm saying. Like I said, there's not a lot of time for me to film, but I don't want the channel to go dead, because there's a lot that I want to say and contribute in this community. I really think that the people who are making this filmmaking style community content, it's really cool to be a part of it. I watch a ton of your content. I interact with you guys, and I comment on your stuff. So it's cool to also have my voice be out there in the world as well. And yeah, I mean, selfishly, I like to also use it as a marketing, agent, a marketing arm. Because if there's a specific topic and I'm making a video about it, YouTube is a Google search. It's linked to Google. So if somebody's searching how to shoot a wedding, how to be a cinematographer, how to do YouTube lighting, how to whatever, and your video comes across in their algorithm, one connection point between you and maybe a potential client, they start following you, they see your stuff, they see that you are a cinematographer, they see that you do lighting, that you help with podcasts, that you do consultation calls, and maybe they reach out to you. I feel like YouTube is really important for cinematographers and videographers, production company owners, to get their voice out there and to make this style of content, because it's just one more touch point for potential clients. So I'm just trying to be more consistent with it. I know a lot of YouTubers and people are saying that. I was for a while posting weekly, and when topics would come up, sometimes I'm able to just shoot on my phone with some lav mics, but I do prefer to have higher picture quality and video quality, because I feel like it really helps when somebody is maybe on your Instagram, or that whatever, they clicked your link in your bio and they're like, oh, this guy has a YouTube channel. Let me go check out his YouTube channel. And then they land on your page and they see some high quality videos that are shot with a nice camera and they have good audio that sounds really crispy. Then they can see that you are a master at your craft, and they could see that that is something that you can do for them as a client. If you are selling video production services and your video production doesn't look good and doesn't sound good, people are maybe going to be hesitant to hire you. I just want to come across as professional as I possibly can, the way I show up on Instagram and on YouTube, even if it does take a little bit more work. Hiring an editor might be something that I try out. I also have a few strategies on how I'm going to get some new clients in the future. I'm going to try to maybe do some cold emails. I don't think I have the right personality, or just I'm more of an introvert. I don't think that doing cold outreach via phone is something that I'm going to be good at. My dad, funny enough, my dad is actually a salesman, and for his whole career, what he would do is he would call up on the phone. He would have leads that he would go through, and he would have a full script, and he would call people up on the phone, and he would set up appointments, and he'd go to their house and he'd close them. He worked for an art school, and he would go and he would do that. And you would think that that skill would transfer over and run in the family, but I don't know if it's something that I'm going to be able to do. I think that using the same techniques and principles, but maybe applying that to email, might be a good way to outreach, especially because these people, they're cold emails. They're not like what he had was like a warm lead. So these people were already interested in the art school when he reached out to them. I'll be reaching out to people who are potentially don't even need video production. That's just one way. I need to really define and work on my offer and my pricing of what it is I'm doing. I feel like the amount of money that I charge for my services is probably in a good ballpark of what people are able to pay. I feel like it's either extremely high or extremely low. I'll talk prices. If it's usually about, I'd say above 5,000 to 10,000 is kind of like the ballpark of where I've done in the past as like a DP, small producer, where I'm coming in to a business, or somebody, maybe a producer's hiring me, and I have to put together a crew of maybe 4 to 5 people, sound person, gaffer, camera operator, and have a small nimble crew coming in. And we're at about 5,000 to maybe 10,000 on the higher end if there's like hiring some gear or even like a location. But most of the stuff is on like the lower end, like 1,500 to 3,000, which is mostly, that's like solo dolo sort of category where I'm doing everything all by myself. And I don't know, it's hard to work as a team if you're making less than $3,000, I would say. And especially if there's post involved. I try to leave at least $1,000 for post, because you just never know how long or how many days somebody's going to need to edit. And at the very least, I want to have, $500 for an editor for a day. So if I have them cutting for 2 days, I want to be able to pay them $1,000. So to have a shoot, or even if I'm the editor, I want to be able to make that much money if I'm sitting down to edit something. There's a lot of like, hey, can you come out for $200 or $500 or whatever, just to do this, day playing kind of stuff. I've really turned down a lot of that in the past. So I feel like people don't really reach out to me anymore because I've turned down all of that, less than $2,000, less than $3,000 work. And I'm most of the time trying to push toward that higher end, 10, 15. In the past with my production company, I've actually done days where we were making 30 to 40K. That was like a full crew, DIT, multicam, sound, multiple deliverables, all kinds of stuff. That was net. It wasn't profit, all of it, but those were expensive days of production for sure. Looking to try to get back into that range, but you really need to find the right clients that are going to facilitate that type of work. And I just feel like, I don't know, with AI, things are getting crazy. People are not willing to pay or put so much into video anymore. I reached out to a couple people on Instagram where I saw that they were running ads, and their video ads were not so great. They were mostly in the fitness space, fitness niche. And I reached out to them and said, hey, I'd like to try to help you with some of the video work. Check out some of my page. This is what I offer. and a lot of no's, because they just felt like recording on the phone is all that they needed to do. And I guess they were getting good results with that and cheap little video. I think a lot of people are not valuing the high production quality so much anymore. They want the quick turnaround, even with photography as well. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Oh, I want to pivot right here and talk about Blackmagic. Blackmagic did a live stream yesterday, and they released a bunch of new stuff that they're going to be unveiling, or I guess showcasing, at NAB this year. I'm actually not going to be going to NAB this year, but I'll be watching watching all the stuff online, all the updates, and just seeing what is going on and what are all the new things. But as far as what Blackmagic put out that's interesting to me is a lot of updates to DaVinci Resolve 21. I downloaded the beta and I've been playing around with it a lot. The things that stuck out to me are the de-aging. You can put in somebody's age and it will track your face and it'll make you look either older or younger. So that can be really, really cool in a lot of different scenarios for filmmaking, changing an actor's age. Also facial refinement, taking out pimples and things like that. Also, a lot of AI tools with transcription. There's so many things, I can't even remember all of it. The big thing that jumped out to me was photos. Now there's a photo page in Resolve, and I can't tell you how excited I am that there's a photo page in Resolve now. I've been using Lightroom for, I don't know, 20 years or something. It's been a long time since I've been using Lightroom Classic, and then also Lightroom Mobile. And it is okay. I've used it in a professional sense, and then I've also used it just for like my family photos and things like that. But the node-based workflow of color grading in Resolve is just so natural now, and I've been using that since about 2022. So what is that, 4 years or so I've been on the Resolve train. I just feel like it's a much more powerful software. And I can really see a lot of people moving from Adobe over into the DaVinci world. So that's really exciting to see that there's really sort of a copy of Adobe Lightroom now directly in DaVinci Resolve. And it's not like a separate standalone product like the Creative Cloud. It's actually integrated, so you just have one software. You have all your different pages. You have a photo page, a cut page, an edit page, Fairlight, Deliver. There's a ton of other new features in DaVinci Resolve in the update in DaVinci 21. I can't even remember all of them, but I'm really excited to get in and start working on the photos and using the raw photo controls in there. I think that's just really, really cool. And just the way that it also creates albums, you can use AI to look at all of your different photos, and you can type in dog or cat or person or blue car, and then it will categorize and search them and put them into bins for you. So it's crazy to have all these AI tools now built directly into the software and see how well they work. I used to use a lot of different type of softwares, especially for short form stuff. I was using like CapCut and LumaFusion, and I was using, I even tried the Premiere Mobile. I was using that one for a while, but it couldn't handle anything that was that was more than like 5 minutes. If you had an edit that was, longer than 5 minutes, it really struggled to export. I had a 20-minute long like vlog where I went to Nicaragua with my family, and I tried to export it with the Premiere Mobile app, and it was just having like the hardest time ever to export this thing. And I had to chop it into like 5 to 10 minute long segments just to get it out and to get it out online so that I could, share with my family. After that, I was like, all right, we're not doing any sort of long form on mobile anymore. So really, I think that the only editing software from here on out that I'm going to use both for short form content and for long form content is going to be DaVinci Resolve, especially, with all these new powerful tools. I don't understand why you would use anything else. There's the Instagram Edits app, which is great if you're just doing like a quick 30-second video. Maybe you're just talking to your phone directly and you just want to add some captions or something real simple, like really simple. But anything more like complicated than that, or if I'm actually using a camera, that's probably going to be edited in DaVinci from now on. So another service that I wanted to offer is something called a brand film. If you guys subscribe to Story King Studios or Mike Perez, those guys over there, Story King Studios, shout out to them. They do a lot of corporate work, and one thing that they incorporate is something called a brand film. And I think that brand films are pretty cool. It's basically like a small documentary that tells a story of that business. And I think if I'm trying to target business owners and showing them some sort of a brand film would be very beneficial. Still trying to figure out what my offer would be and how much I would charge for something like that, and what size crew I need and how many days and all that kind of stuff. I think that there's a couple of different businesses that I want to try to do a brand film for them and just do it on spec and see how it goes. And that way I can pitch it to other companies and they can kind of see what it is and see if it's something that they would align with, and that can go out in my cold email pitch. So that's something that I'm going to be working on to try to bring in more revenue, more new clients, sort of a one-off offer. It's like, hey, we made a brand film for you. It's something that can go on your website, or maybe I can look and see different companies and be like, oh, I see that you don't have any sort of video content on your website. Maybe you would be interested in something like this, a brand film. That's something that I'm going to be offering now to businesses. Another thing is photography. I want to get back into photography. I have been a photographer 2017, 2018, 2019. I was really into photography, portrait photography, had a website. I was shooting with models all the time. I was going down to the beach. I had flash. I was doing off-camera flash, all kinds of stuff. I really miss it and I want to get back to it. And it's just also just another way to just create another revenue stream through photos. And especially with DaVinci Resolve now, I think I'm going to use that as my post-production pipeline and just keep everything in there, both video and photo. I've been looking at cameras, stills cameras, the A7, or what is it? A7S5. That thing looks really cool. If I want to go the Sony route, I mean, even something like an R3 or R6 or something like that would be cool. If I wanted to do Canon, Fujifilm is cool, but it's either really small sensor or really giant sensor if you go that way. Micro Four Thirds, or what is it? Medium format. Like what are they doing? There's no full frame. The Fujifilm just kind of stays out of the full frame arena, which I guess is good. There's just, too much competition from Canon and Sony and Lumix and all those. The Lumix S1, 2, or whatever it's called, everybody has given me really good recommendations on that camera. They say it's a great camera and it's something that I should look into, especially if I'm a video shooter, hybrid shooter. But then I have to go to the Lumix side and start getting stills glass for that. I've been thinking about what I want to do with my lenses. I sold off a set of Cine Primes, the Greatjoy Cine Primes. I didn't really use them all that much. I had them on a short film shoot and I did a couple test shoots with them and some stuff in the studio. But other than that, they pretty much sat on the shelf and just were collecting dust. So my wife was like, you need to sell those. I sold off my red as well, my red helium. So I no longer have red helium anymore. Only have Blackmagic, the 6K Pro, which is my favorite camera of all time. I made a lot of videos about it. It's just a stupendous camera for what it does. Internal NDs, 6K RAW, Blackmagic RAW. It's got great codecs. You can do ProRes. I'm shooting ProRes 422 right now at 4K DCI. I can go down to Ultra HD. I really think it competes really well with FX3. Everybody's still saying, oh, FX3 is great. It's the best camera. It's, a 5-year-old camera. I'm still rocking this camera. It's a 5-year-old camera, and I still think it crushes the FX3 in a lot of ways. The form factor is a bit bigger, but when it comes to video workflow, I think it's just a much better camera all around for video production. I wish it had a stills function. It does shoot like DNG stills, but they're not great and they're not super easy to work with. So I usually avoid messing with the stills function on it. But yeah, those are some of my plans for this coming month and what I'm trying to accomplish in the next few weeks to a year. And yeah, just trying to be more consistent on this channel. I wanted to do live streams, but it's really challenging to find a time to get on here and do a live stream. But I think it would be beneficial if you guys wanted to come in and ask me some questions and we could just talk and have a little bit of a conversation. So I might try to figure out how to dial that in. It's been a while since I've done a live stream on the channel. It's been a couple of years, I think. but I have a pretty good setup for it now, so I might incorporate that back again. But yeah, I just like this looser style of, just talking to you guys, opening up conversations so that you guys can respond to me in the comments and we can have this back and forth, because I like being involved in the YouTube community. And then I have this location scout video coming up, and I'm probably going to be busy because I'm going to be on set as a gaffer for this short film coming up. So I'm just trying to get that all figured out. And it's nice to not have my gear on a shoot for once. I actually have been sub-renting a lot of stuff and paring down a lot of my equipment. I'm trying to have less gear here in the home studio and do less post-production, less equipment rentals, and just be hired for who I am and what I know. And gear does matter 100%. Anybody tells you gear doesn't matter, they're lying. Gear matters a ton, but the gear that I have and use, I want to be really solid. I don't need a ton of stuff. I just want the stuff that I have to be very, very versatile. Really just trying to pare down my stuff and not really be like minimalist, but just more intentional about equipment that I buy and make sure that it serves a purpose and I'm actually using it. You guys let me know what you're shooting on and how you're getting clients and how 2026 is going for you guys. I'm interested to hear. And yeah, if you've made it this far, hopefully I've been entertaining enough and interesting enough to you guys are actually like able to follow along. So I really appreciate you. You guys are real ones. If you've made it this far in the retention graph, give this video a like. Once again, I'm Scott Stevenson. Thank you guys so much for watching this one, and feel free to check out some of my past videos. And once again, peace.